You can now get a 30-day trial to experience The Athletic for free. Visit the link in the description below to try it now. It's the last minute of a game, and desperately chasing a goal, an attacking side forces a defence to concede a corner. The crowd rise from their seats as the big centre-halves rumble forward and the ball is spotted. The stadium is gripped by anticipation, but it shouldn't be. Between 2010 and 2020, roughly 3% of corners taken in Europe's top 5 leagues resulted in a goal. Now that describes a few issues, not least a lack of time dedicated to maximising set-piece potential. But how could corners be made more dangerous? What could we do to make them live up to that billing? Well, just for fun, Tifo had a think. Now firstly, why is the rate of return on corners so low? Well, purely because scoring from them is difficult. Firstly, because of the goalkeeper. It's incredibly difficult to position a cross close enough to the goal for a chance to result, but far enough away that the keeper, who has a significant reach advantage, can't simply catch the ball. The number of players in the penalty box is also a problem. A scoring chance demands a near-perfect delivery if it's to evade all of the defenders between the corner taker and the attacking target. And that's to say nothing of the fact that heading the ball accurately while under pressure, which is inevitable with so many players in close proximity, is a hard skill. And a final major difficulty: the angle. Corners have to be spotted up within or over the boundary of the quadrant by the corner flag. And that gives an advantage to the defenders, because the corner is taken tight to the touchline. There is no offside line from the first phase of play, nor as a result is there any distance between the goalkeeper and the defenders. And there are two consequences of this. Firstly, defenders are always able to face the play and see what's in front of them. And secondly, there is no corridor of uncertainty, which is such a fertile target for other types of attacking set plays. So what could we change? Well, several things, individually or in combination. Let's start with that corner quadrant. Now currently its radius is 1 yard from the corner flag. But what if we made that bigger? Much bigger in fact, making that radius 10 yards from the flag, and it permissible to place the ball anywhere within that area. And the result, other than a slightly unusual pitch marking, would be the creation of many more interesting angles at corners, providing for far greater variety and which, importantly, would create that vital offside line and the effects that come with it. Consider, for instance, the difference between aiming across at the box from this position, the traditional angle, and this one, courtesy of our new expanded quadrant. Out-swinging crosses would have the room to tease, in-swingers would knife towards the goal with real menace. In addition to which, the inability to shut off the near post entirely would open a further avenue of opportunity, into which could be played crosses of low and quick trajectory, which could no longer be safely cleared away by a first-man defender. And that would be progress. According to a 2019 statistic based on corners taken in the top 5 European leagues, 40% didn't beat the first man. So that sorts the angle, but we could go further. How about limiting the number of players that can occupy the 18-yard box before a corner is taken? Or perhaps in fear of giving up a potential counter-attack, the average number of attacking players pushed forwards for a corner is now around 5. That means with defences rarely leaving more than 2 or very occasionally 3 players upfield, the attacking team is often significantly outmatched. Look at this corner from 2019, which Burnley, attacking in green, took against Southampton, defending in red and white. 9 defenders versus 4 attackers. So let's change that. Let's get rid of this player, this one, and these 2 here, and move them to outside of the box. Let's also say that only 4 attacking players can occupy the area at the point at which a corner is taken. And let's give everyone room to breathe. All players would be allowed to enter the box after the ball is struck, like a penalty. Let's give the attacking side a head start. A corner delivered into a more sparsely occupied box would create more compelling individual contests. It would make shirt pulling and general shenanigans easier to spot and punish, and it would create a spectacle more worthy of the crowd's excitement. With a more obvious opportunity, perhaps it would encourage more coaches to be innovative in their routines. And who knows what kind of tactics would be used outside of the box. Perhaps cavalier coaches would push more players upfield, backing their centre-halves to win their battles and launch numerical mismatches on the counter. Too revolutionary? Okay, well, one final change and more of a compromise. What if instead of having to be 10 yards from the ball when a corner was taken, defenders had to actually be inside the penalty box? or no closer than the distance between the touchline and near side of the area. One advantage would be that it would allow attacking sides the few seconds and space needed to construct effective short corner routines. It would provide the opportunity for some real craft, with slick passes and well-worked moves allowing the corner takers to manufacture their own interesting angles. They'd be closed down quickly, of course, because a defensive strategy would inevitably be to send one player charging towards the ball. But good execution could tempt out the defensive line, could manufacture those elusive crossing angles, and make corners a dangerous weapon again. Today's video was sponsored by Manscaped, and I'm here to tell you a spooky story with a moral about using the right tools for the job. That's right, nothing says Halloween like real blood. Avoid that by using the Lawnmower 4.0. It features a cutting-edge ceramic blade to reduce those pesky grooming accidents, and it's waterproof. Hey, you know what else I'm afraid of? Nose hairs tickling my face under my mask. I hate it. So I use the Weed Whacker, Manscaped's own nose and ear hair trimmer, providing proprietary skin-safe technology that helps prevent nicks, snags, and tugs. There's nothing better than whacking the heck out of those weeds in my nose. So, join 2 million men worldwide and get 20% off plus free shipping with the code TIFO at manscaped.com. That's 20% off plus free shipping with the code TIFO at manscaped.com. And feel good, not spooky, this Halloween. If you like this video, please consider subscribing to the channel. The Athletic brings you the best sports journalism in the world in a personalised experience, connecting you with the stories and teams that you care about the most. There's coverage of 13 sports, plus direct access to world-class journalists through live Q&As, discussions, and podcasts. Not to mention, it's all ad-free. And you can try it now for free for 30 days by clicking the link in the description.